Hello everybody and welcome to another video from Froglane Studio. So today we're going to be looking at green stuffing these fur cloaks onto some, well, soon to be Space Wolf Primaris Marines. So I've already covered in previous videos the correct way to prep these models in terms of the green stuff, so we won't go ahead with that. We'll just jump straight into how I went about green stuffing this magnificent cloak on this model. So we're going to start this off. We're going to grab quite a sizable chunk of green stuff on this, and then we're going to lay this across the top of where the backpack would be. This is where the cloak is going to join to the armour itself. So we're going to want enough green stuff to work with it. Don't worry if you've got too much, it's okay. We're going to be dragging the green stuff from the top of the model down through the rest of it. So we're going to lie the next blob of green stuff around the bottom of the backpack. You'll notice obviously I've not got the backpack attached. This is just so that we can get into all the nooks and crannies and really allow the fur to flow down nice and easy. So the first thing we're going to do is just get our green stuffing tool and start tamping down the green stuff. You're wanting to start laying the layers of fur down, so it's just a case of deciding on the direction. For me, I'm having this fur flow straight down top to bottom, and then all we're doing is just gradually putting in these lines incrementally. It's quite a lot of hard work to do all of this, and it is very time consuming, but the overall effect by the end of it is going to look fantastic. So don't worry if to start off with it doesn't look immediately like fur. The more you work with this and the more you put these linear layers in, the more definitive it's going to look at the end of it. The more that fur is really going to stand out. You can see here now I've finished the first layer. I've just gone ahead with a scalpel and trimmed out where the backpack is, just moulding the green stuff around it so that we can still then attach that backpack through. I'm switching over to a scalpel here. You can use either just a normal sculpting tool or a scalpel. The scalpel, because the blade is thinner itself, it's going to provide thinner strands of fur, and the more closely the lines are that you're inscribing into the green stuff, the thinner that hair is going to look. The wider apart they are, the thicker the hair is going to look. So that's just a design decision that you're going to make yourself once you're going through this. Do whatever looks right for you for that particular model. And so as we're starting off from the top, we're just being careful not to have our fingers pressing onto the green stuff that we're using, because otherwise you're going to wreck the hair. Keeping those fingers well away, and then we're just working the green stuff with now a scalpel blade, but you can use any sculpting tool that's just going to give you those linear lines. And once again, we're just building this up layer by layer, slowly. Once we've done one row, we're going to move down to the next one. So here we go. You can see here that I've added a couple more layers. I'm just putting the backpack on now just to test and dry fit this model. So if you like the way it looks, you can go ahead and leave it like that. I thought this was quite a small pelt for this guy, so what I wanted to do was add another layer on top of this to really have that long flowing cloak. So I've gone ahead and mixed a bit more green stuff up. This is a slightly different colour just to show you from one to the other. So it's really important on this. It's something that I've not mentioned on my videos before, but when we're putting these marks in, we're using water on the blade so that the green stuff doesn't stick to the blade. So each time you finish off, there we go, just dip into the water, and then we're going to go again. It's exactly the same as when we started off at the top. We're just gradually, I start from the centre and work my way out and around. We're just putting these lines in, these striations. And so as we keep going in, I've got the majority of this done now. I'm just switching over to a slightly thicker blade to re-establish some of the thicker fur in. Don't worry if you have to go up and over the top of each model, because each line, the more lines and striations that we have in there, the more realistic this fur is going to look by the time we're done with it. And so here we go. So we're getting towards the end of the model here now. And this is probably one of the most important parts, because we're wanting the fur when it comes to the end of it to look like natural fur, not just a blob of green stuff with lines in it. So what I'm doing to start off with is just going underneath that fur area and pushing up and into the green stuff to create a lip with this. And so you can see here, the further up we go with the model, the more definitive that hair is now starting to become. So we're just going in and working from bottom to top, adds these layers with the overhang on there, as you can see. So we're just going in at a shallow angle and then adding more and more of these lines and these layers with the fur. As I said, the more you work this, the more it's going to look like real fur, which is what we want. Now this last bit here, I'm just tweaking the model now. The fur's almost done. The more you work at this, the more you can add those small characters and nuances within the green stuffed model. But of course you don't want to overwork it, so this is just a fine balancing act here. I'm just wanting to add a little bit more definition around the bottom. So here I'm just pushing the green stuff up away from the cloak. I'm trying to get that separation from the green stuff and the actual model itself. So I'm being very careful not to scratch the plastic. I'm using the flat underside of the blade to make contact with the plastic model. And then we're just pushing this fur up and out from away from the model, so it's got a little bit more volume to it. Right, this last step here is something I decided after I'd finished with the green stuffing of the hair. The cloak ran quite flat against the model, and so what I wanted to do was lift it up and out away from the model so it looked like the model had a little bit more movement to it. So I'm going in here with a scalpel blade, a flat modelling blade, and just starting to tease the green stuff away from the model. And the aim here is just to allow a little bit more flow with the cloak itself. You can see it's just a gradual process here. I'm just ever so slowly bending this cloak away from the model itself. You've probably got about 40-50 minutes worth of playtime overall with the green stuff. So once we're happy with that final form, we can leave it then to go ahead and cure fully. So there we have it. One completed green stuffed fur cloak. So we're going to look to add some more Space Wolf definitive features on here. I'm going to want to do a head with a beard and nice long flowing locks of hair next up. That's my next goal, so that'll be in a future video for us. So thank you very much for watching. Please let me know in the comments or by message about any topics that you want me to cover. If you have enjoyed the stream, then please feel free to tell your friends more about Frog Lane Studio, where in future episodes we'll be covering more hacks, hints, tips and tricks to ease your hobby woes. If you live in the UK and want to buy Discount Games Workshop and other products, I'd also like to mention that I am affiliated with Mighty Lancer Games, who give a massive 20% off most of the products in the range, so be sure to check out their affiliate link down below. And if you have been finding my streams or videos useful at all, I'd also just like to mention that the channel does have a Patreon page. If you've learned or enjoyed something, then all support is greatly appreciated, as it allows me to continue to support you. Channel Patreons receive various benefits, such as our fantastic Discord community, requesting tutorial content, or even hourly one-to-one hobby sessions with myself. And the more subscribers that we get, the more giveaways that we can do. So if any of that sounds good to you, or you'd just like to help support me to continue on making these tutorials, then feel free to have a look at my page. In any case, a massive thank you to my latest Patreons: Death Corpse Master, Eater of Cities, Full Circle, Honor Sanguinius, Jeans and a Shirt, Keith, Loco Dry Dog, MDH, Midget Gems, Mogsy, Mr. Tumnus, Not There But Trying, Original Sin, Past 7 Painting, Mr. and Mrs. Ritzenbits, Mr. and Mrs. Monkey, Stephen, Sonorous, Secret Paintbrush, Ryan, Venom, and a brand new Patreon, Sons of Syndrome, and of course the ever indomitable Mrs. Frog. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you on the live streams or in future videos. Take care, and may your brushes always be pointed.